if I may, about exercise and yoga was mentioned, and I do some yoga, and particularly a lot of repetitions of the sun salutation exercise, which is a very cardiovascular exercise. And I find that it promotes, when I do it at least, very deep breathing. Um, is that contrary, even though I do it through my nose, but it's still like, very deep breathing associated with the movements. Is that contrary to Buteyko training, where we're trying to keep our breathing lighter?
Well, any physical exercise could improve or worsen your breathing and your overall health. So if you are applying the Buteyko method, your goal should be to turn every physical exercise into your breathing improvement exercise, meaning that every physical exercise should increase your control pose, regardless whether it's yoga or biking or running, swimming or something else. So that should be your focus. Now, how you breathe during physical exercises is also important. Of course, you need to breathe through your nose only, but many people are very capable of hyperventilating through the nose while exercising. So if you are breathing like this while doing yoga, most likely you are hyperventilating. You are decreasing your level of carbon dioxide, and you're actually worsening your health. So in this case, it would be better for you not to exercise and just to sit somewhere compared to exercising like this. Also, many people assume that Buteyko breathing is shallow breathing. It's not deep breathing. It's actually incorrect, and the mistake comes from kind of a questionable translation of Russian terms, which Dr. Buteyko used. So, of course, healthy breathing is deep breathing. There is nothing wrong about it. Shallow breathing, chest breathing is unhealthy breathing. So we do practice deep breathing in the Buteyko method. However, it's quiet and invisible breathing. And if you are physically active, your breathing is going to become more active. There is nothing wrong about it. But you should not be over-breathing to the point that you're losing your carbon dioxide, your vitality. Does it make sense?
So the problem would be if the frequency of the breathing becomes very quick. Is that the main problem? The rate of breathing rather than the depth of the breath?
No.
During exercise, I'm talking about.
In general, within this method, we are not concerned about frequency of breathing. And Dr. Buteyko specifically advised not to count frequency of breathing, okay? Not to mess up with it, not to try modify frequency. What we are concerned about is the level of carbon dioxide, which you already know, it's measurable. The method of measuring control pose after physical exercises is different compared to measuring it in a still position. And you can, so all you need to be concerned about is whether physical exercises increase your level of carbon dioxide or not. That's a short version of it, but if you really like to learn how to do it, there are several of my articles on this topic in the blog section of the website, the Breathing Center's website. And also we have a video course with step-by-step instructions on how to turn your physical exercises into your breathing improvement exercises.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then Sharada is actually a yoga teacher and she's from India originally. You're in London, right?
England, in South Yorkshire.
Okay.
Yeah. So all that you said about yoga, yes, it does apply. And I have absolutely no physical, health problems. I am peaceful, I'm chilled out, I have absolutely no issues. I feel like a 25-year-old. All of that is there because I do yoga. But what I found is, as I was doing this method, I have a family history, of course, of blood pressure and diabetes. So I'm very careful on that. And I'm always see that I never go higher than that. So what happened to me was suddenly my blood pressure started to increase as I was doing the breath holds. And then, not just the breath holds. And then I thought maybe, why is this happening? Because even earlier I always had 140, 150, and that was never an issue. From the past 15 years, my blood pressure has always been about 140, 150. I'm not worried about that. When it slowly started to increase, that's when I got worried. I'm doing all of the methods in the right way. What could be the cause of this thing is what I was asking. I sent a query to Sasha. Did anyone else have this problem of the blood pressure rising?
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, Sharada, it's a question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that hasn't affected me in any way. I have absolutely no other issues. Not even a slight bit. The blood pressure has not, I don't feel dizzy, I don't feel anything. So it's like as if it's normal. But because I do test and I do have an instrument, just got me slightly worried. But nothing, there's no change in my physical health, and I feel still the same exactly as I always felt doing yoga. And my yoga practice has always been my lifeline in the sense.
Okay. So Sharada started applying the Buteyko method and her blood pressure increased. And that's why it's so important to apply the Buteyko method with the guidance of a specialist. Because even though there are some general recommendations, there are specific approaches regarding personal situation and regarding different health conditions. What happened to you, Sharada, is and Sharada was trying to apply the method on her own without this guidance, and that's why it happened. So for people who have a high blood pressure issue, it's very important to know that doing a lot of breath holds or doing long breath holds could increase their blood pressure at the beginning of their training. And that could be very frightening or could be even dangerous. It happens because the increased level of carbon dioxide increases blood circulation. It boosts blood circulation. And that's why this effect can take place. And because of that, for people who have high blood pressure, it's very important to be very careful at the beginning and also to put emphasis on relaxation. They could do breath holds, but only short ones and not that often. And of course, as for everyone else, it's really important to make sure that every session of breathing exercises results in an increased level of carbon dioxide, but also in feeling better, to have less symptoms or to be symptom-free. So, Sharada, what happened to you, it's actually quite typical for people who try to apply the method on their own without exactly knowing how to do it. And for you, you just need to stop doing breath holds for a while and do all kind of breathing exercises based on relaxation. In fact, relaxation should become your main your main exercise for breathing reduction. And also mild physical activity combined with silent nasal breathing will help tremendously.
One thing I did notice is during this COVID-19, I mean, it's not the usual practice. I'm teaching students on Zoom, and it's not the same. One thing I did notice is my inversions, I had completely stopped. My headstand, my shoulder stand, and all of that I had stopped. Then I thought probably that could be one of the reasons, because that's one thing what was my regular practice. Then so what I did is I went back to headstand and shoulder stand, and then I immediately saw a complete drop of 10, 10, 10, 10, and I could see a drop. So probably that could have been the reason that I'm not adding inversions into my yoga practice, like headstand, shoulder stand. And it immediately showed to me that was a holistic approach. And since then, it's come down. Probably that could be the reason. And like you said, probably breath holds and could have added to that pressure. And then when I noticed that inversions I've added, then I started noticing the blood pressure coming down. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Well, I'm glad that you solved the problem for now. If you want to investigate it further.
Yeah, that's what. So I'm just going to look at it, do everyday headstand and shoulder stand, add it to my general practice, and see if that gets under control, back to where I was. That could be one blessing. So I'll give it another week and then come back to you, Sasha.
Okay.
Because I'm very keen on doing this, because generally I do teach yoga, relaxation, and all of that, and all of them work so well. And I just wanted to add this one more into my toolbox.
Yes, of course, it makes sense. Absolutely. Thank you. Do you have any other questions, comments? Or are we ready to end this meeting?
Could I share my experience regarding blood pressure?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a home blood pressure monitor, and I experiment with what sensations of relaxation lower my blood pressure, and I feel that I've been very, very successful. If I take my blood pressure multiple times, and I go into deeper and deeper relaxation, and I can see that it makes a tremendous difference in the blood pressure. It's same feeling as in meditation. It lowers my blood pressure.
And that works this way because relaxation naturally increases the level of carbon dioxide, and the same for meditation if it's done properly. But for people with high blood pressure, it's actually a good idea to measure their blood pressure before and after every session of breathing exercises, making sure that breathing exercises decrease the blood pressure, not increase it.
Sasha, if I could follow up on my previous question, because as we're talking, I thought of this. If I may, is that okay? Another question?
Yes.
Yeah. What I was saying about yoga, regarding specifically the sun salutation exercise, I feel that the problem is in that I've trained myself to coordinate movements, specific movements, with specific inhalations and exhalations. And is that uh, and that promotes a certain kind of breathing, which now as I analyze it, it feels very contrived. Um, Deep breathing coordinated with specific movements. Is that contrary to Buteyko methods?
It can be or not.
Uh-huh.
And it's again, it depends on the effect of this exercise on your body and on your current condition. So if it increases your control pose, it's good for you. If it decreases your control pose, it's bad for you. So the problem with yoga is not the problem, the issue.
One size does not fit all.
So the problem with yoga is that it's not that the yogic techniques are negative for us. The problem is always with the recipient, right? So what effect it has on your body. Because a lot of yogic techniques were designed to people with a completely different lifestyle, the way how people used to live in India many years ago. And that lifestyle was very supportive of a high level of carbon dioxide. So in short, people were not hyperventilating as much as modern people do. Most modern people hyperventilate to a very serious degree. And because of that, the techniques which played positive role before, many years ago in India, become negative for them now, right? So in order to make them positive, you need to strengthen your breathing and you need to make sure that every technique you are doing increases your control pose. So what you described is not necessarily bad. It could be very positive, but you need to check on it. In general, all techniques, all authentic yoga techniques, if they are applied correctly, they increase the level of carbon dioxide tremendously. It's a fantastic tool. We are so lucky to have it. Okay? But it's a very powerful tool. So if it's applied incorrectly, it could have a significant negative effect as well. So make sure that what you are doing is correct for your breathing at the day and at the time you are doing it. And try not to approach exercises kind of intellectually without being in tune with your body. So for example, if a yoga teacher tells you to synchronize your breathing with the movements, in a specific way, and you start doing it, and you can hear that, your breathing becomes very noisy and you're hardly able to breathe through your nose, so maybe you start breathing through the mouth. That means that this technique for you right now is not working and you shouldn't be doing it. So your breathing is the language of your body, as Fred mentioned before, and you need to stay in tune with it. So you can, like if you're doing some yoga exercises, periodically you will hear your breathing becoming noisy and noisy and noisy. So that's your body's telling you that it's approaching its limit. And by the limit, I mean it's approaching the end of the zone when this physical exercise is positive. So if you keep pushing and your breathing becomes like, and then becomes, then you're actually ruining your health. So you need to, of course, listen to your teacher, but your breathing, the language of your body, is always more important than whoever tells you whatever, It's like, it's your body. Let your body answer the question, is it good for your body or not?
Thank you. That was very, very, gives me a lot to work with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sasha, can I share an example?
Please.
Yes?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, and I'll share my own example. I'm going to apply it to one of my favorite topics is exercise. So exercise, in general, whether you're talking about yoga or whether you're talking about jogging. In my case, and it was fairly recent, a discovery that I had where I would jog and I came to a particular hill, and consistently when I came to this, and it wasn't a huge hill, but I noticed as I got to the end of it, I was still nasal breathing, but heavier, to the point where I felt a little more chest, not pain, but chest pressure because of the volume and myself trying to jog at the same pace when I came to this hill. And recently, actually, another practitioner named Olga, she was part of a webinar, and she shared her experience of running a marathon. But she explained how, even though she had asthma and learned about Buteyko, but she trained and actually ran a marathon. But she ran it at a pace that was comfortable for her and in harmony with her breathing. So I thought of that, and then the next day, I went out and I applied that same principle. When I came to the hill, I didn't stop, but I jogged much slower. And when I got to the end of that hill, I noticed my breathing wasn't heavy. Even though I engaged in the same activity, I knew I had to decrease the amount, the pace. So I slowed down my pace, and I noticed my breathing wasn't heavy, and I still could maintain that nasal breathing comfortably, and I didn't have that precious, because I realized I was pushing my breathing when I came to that hill a little bit too far, too much, and was now promoting, at least in that short period, some hyperventilation, even though I was breathing through my nose. And so now I apply that principle, and I find that my jogging is, I look forward to it more. It doesn't present any discomfort, and I don't notice I'm not engaging, even though I'm jogging the same length of time, not engaging in any hyperventilation even through while nasal breathing. And so that adjustment and that experience just added to my further understanding of the things that Sasha is sharing that can be applied to just about any exercise, and really, once again, having that awareness of what is this movement doing for you at this point in time. And it may just be you need to slow down, do it less intense, and then eventually you can build up to that intensity, because eventually I will be able to take on that hill at the same pace, but I need to kind of work my way up to it. And, just wanted to share that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that my example helped to make what Sasha was saying understandable.
Thank you, Fred. And Daniel, if you don't mind, I would like to ask you to share your experience with jogging. I remember at some point you said that slow you jog, high your control pose is.
Yeah. Oh, yes. But first of all, like I said earlier, I jog 6 days a week. So it's not because I'm fully in love with jogging, but today, yes. But before, no, because I noticed that the days that I didn't jog, my control pose went down. Simple as it is. So I start to notice that, okay, I'll jog. And the first time I jog, I just can't. Sasha told me that I just can't realize that I have to breathe through my nose because I was an heavy breather. So even through my nose, I was able to overbreathe like a train. So I just, and my heart, I have a watch that told me my heartbeat, and I just jog like slower than someone that walk. And my heartbeat was quite high. Let's say it was quite high for the sake of this discussion. But as long as I keep improving the jogging every day for months, my heartbeat just came really down. Now I can just run fast in a relaxed state and a shallow breathing and going much faster than I could imagine. So I think this is part of the whole process of improving our health, because before my heartbeat was high and now it's almost at a relaxed state and I can jog. And I jog in a way that it promotes control pose. So we have to learn to jog. It's not conventional jogging from my viewpoint. So it's kind of jog like belly breathing. So it's more like jogging with the diaphragm. So you have to work like this way. But for me, I have to jog every day. The thing is, it's mostly because my job is an office worker, so I work on an armchair, which is killing me. I think my health, because if I sit for 8 hours in a day, it's wow. I don't think it's really healthy. So I take all the opportunity in the office. Now I'm working from home, but I take all the opportunity in the office to going upstairs with the not taking the elevator and walking as much as possible, doing 10,000 steps every day. The yoga also helps with this. So just coming back with the yogas that Sasha did before, and Shara, we'll see. At the beginning, I was not able to make some yoga pose, but as I keep improving, like the inversion, the headstand, I was, wow, it's giving me some headache, and today I can just keep going on, and it helped my sleep. So all that stuff really improved, and the jogging specifically really improved my health. So that's why. So I prefer to run a little bit less, but often as possible, and doing like 6 times a week. So that's the point.
Thank you, Daniel.
Nothing.
Well, I think it's time to say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's just such a treat to get together with the Buteyko practitioners. And I just think it's wonderful that we have this opportunity once a month. So I hope to see you next month. And meanwhile, just try to do your best, practicing the Buteyko method, practicing the art of peaceful breathing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.